Hi, this is Barry Schwartz with the Search Engine Roundtable. This is the May 7th edition, Friday, May 7th edition of the Search Buzz Video Recap. Again, this is the news we covered over at the Search Engine Roundtable at seroundtable.com. Again, I'm doing the live broadcast as well as doing the podcast version. The podcast is being presented on this HD camera, and the live one is being presented over here, which is basically a standard camera built into the monitor I have. And we'll go going between different topics as well. And hopefully we'll get some questions in the chat room, and I'll be able to field those questions and archive it and put it in the podcast version or the videocast version, which will be available on iTunes, YouTube, and also on seroundtable.com later today, Friday, May 7th. All right, so let's get started. The first topic I wanted to discuss was Google's new interface. We used to call it the Google Jazz interface, and the Google Jazz interface has been tested since November of last year. Google was slowly rolling it out to various users over the course of the past 6 months or so. And again, it was being first tested in November. Then they slowly pushed it out and more. They tried different versions of it, different color schemes, different layouts for it, and ultimately they launched it yesterday or 2 days ago, May 5th in the afternoon. Which was slowly being pushed out to everybody else, and most everybody now sees the new interface. The new interface is much more colorful, has a lot more things going on, has a lot more filters, and all the complaints all the forum discussions I see are negative towards it. There are some positive feedbacks, but in my opinion, Google has tested this probably significantly over the past 6 months or so, and Google would not have released it if they didn't think it was actually something that improved the overall search experience for users. A lot of people are saying that Google has copied Bing, using Bing's interface or elements from Bing's interface. Honestly, this interface of 3 panels, dates back to Ask.com when they launched their Ask.com 3D interface, which is also Askx back in Jim Lanzone's days, but that was reverted back when Jim Lanzone left and the new CEO took over. So Bing obviously has that look. Ask.com does. Even Ask.com did, and even Yahoo has that look. So who's copying who is hard to say for sure. Let me quickly take the live viewers. I'll show them how it looks if they haven't seen it yet. And there's also a mobile interface as well if you haven't seen that. But I'm going to Google right now. They have a new logo which you can't see because there's a special logo up today. But basically, if you do a search, you'll be able to see this little left-hand side bar, and it gives you different options over here on the left-hand side. I'll post screenshots later on so you can see it, and also you'll see the various different screens over here where you see the more colorful Google logo, and the different options over here, the 3 panes, as I told you. So there's lots of cool little features in there. Give it a try. If you haven't, you should have it on google.com. So that's a major change over at Google. The next thing that happened on the SEO front was something that's being called MAYDAY. MAYDAY is a name made up at Webmaster World. It's basically May, and Google does. Webmaster World Forum has a thread that constantly updates and talks about how Google's changes are happening over the course of the month. Supposedly, May 1st, there was a major change that impacted SEOs and webmasters at google.com and their rankings. A lot of people are saying that this is affecting very clean sites with very large websites, and they seem to be impacting the long tail, not necessarily the long tail, but like the 3 to 4 keyword phrases, not the 6 to 7 to 8 keyword phrases. And people are complaining that a lot of sites that ranked very well for those 3 or 4 keyword phrases dropped out of the index or noticed a major drop. We have a lot of coverage about this on May 3rd at seroundtable.com. A lot of people discussing how this impact, what's going on and why is this impacting us. It is interesting to say that this doesn't seem to be caffeine related. It might be, but people are suggesting that it might be, but I don't think so. It's also interesting to point out that Google's John Moo over at Google said that he isn't aware of anything going on and that he would love to see specific examples. He did this in a Buzz thread that I have, and I can link to it later on as well. So if you want to learn more about this, definitely check out May 3rd at seroundtable.com. something launched last night, our new Webmaster Tools reports at Webmaster Tools. It's the new search query report. The search query report basically now shows you what's called average position, and the average position basically shows you where your average position is for a certain keyword phrase. Let me show you. Let me zoom into here and show the live audience how it is. As you can see over here, the average position was put over here as well, so you can see average position on the charts as well. You could also star queries that you like, and by starring queries in Webmaster Tools, basically gives you the ability to click on a little star, and when you click on it, it will basically sort those queries at the top of the report, so that you know, so you can see them quickly and see how you're ranking for those different queries in Google Webmaster Tools. It's another quick way to find various queries. So that's another major another major change over at Google Webmaster Tools. Next thing in terms of SEO related was that Google Image Search has somewhat updated in the past week or two. Zeus over at Webmaster World, who's pretty much the guy who follows Google Image Search with a fine-tooth comb, posted that he noticed a major change over at Google Image Search, but all for the better, he said. He said that he's finding, he said, I noticed with Safe Search Moderate On has once again added more images to that filter, which was not there before. So basically, a lot more images are being included in the Safe Search filter when it's on, which is a good thing for him because his images are not being filtered out drastically. He thinks it's a good thing, and he has no complaints this time. He's saying, and I quote, "It looks like Google Image Search is finally stable," which is a good thing, I guess, for people who get traffic from Google Image Search, which is a lot of people. He does give a specific example about a site that did lose traffic, but it's not major. Again, if you want to learn more about this, it is on May 6th at SEOroundtable.com. He said this update took place on April 28th, but it took him a few days to post about it. And the last update before that was on February 16th in regards to Google Image Search. Okay, so the next topic. There's two UI changes outside of the major UI change over at Google. The first one is that when you do a search in Google.com, when you start typing, Google offers suggestions. In the past, and let me show this live on the screen for people who are watching. In the past, when you did a search in Google for, let's say, I don't know, Muslims are, it would offer suggestions, Muslims are whatever, but Google seems to have stopped those suggestions for Muslims are, Jews are, Christians are. It got rid of a lot of these nationality or religious types of search suggestions when you type. So that's a change which we reported over at the Search Roundtable on May 5th. Also, Google has, we talked about it last week, Google's been pushing brands more. By pushing brands, like if you do a search for certain queries like digital camera, Google is showing up here brands for digital camera, including Canon, Olympus, Sony, Nikon, and Kodak. And what that means is that Google's been pushing brands more often. Now it's official. Google wrote a blog post about it over the weekend. And there's a web search and Webmaster help thread over in the different forums talking about it. So again, we have another post about it on May 4th. If you want to learn more about that, check that out. I covered a post over at Webmaster World where it has a person complaining that during his link building endeavors, a lot of people are what he calls too savvy for them to give them links because they know too much about the web and they don't think exchanging links is helpful or healthy or something they should be doing. He's complaining that, in a sense, more white hat SEO techniques are being classified, in his opinion, as black hat SEO techniques when they truly are not. And that really upsets him. That's upsetting to him, and he's upset that people are classifying things in the wrong way, where it used to be exchanging links on relevant sites made sense, and now people are saying any exchange links or any link development is seen as horrible and should not be done. It's black hat. And I wrote a blog post, not so long, but fairly short for the topic, because I usually write short blog posts, on May 6th, talking about, is this true? Are white hat SEO techniques being considered black hat? And I think it is. I think it's true that more people are considering white hat SEO techniques to be classified as black hat, and it's a bad issue. The question is, who's to blame, really? Is it Google, who's been more public and forthcoming about what's bad and what's good, and obviously Google being more and more strict about links and how those work? Is it you for denying links? Is it me for not writing about it enough? The bottom line is this confusion, and the confusion has to be cleared up, and that confusion is an issue, and hopefully as time goes on it'll get better, but I doubt it. If you want to learn more about this and discuss it, we have a post on May 6th about it. There's also a link to a post that I wrote that got a lot of feedback from the industry, called "Are SEO Black Hat Turning White, or is the industry melting?" So you definitely want to take a look at that, May 6th at SEOroundtable.com for more information. We do have a question from Johas in the chat room. Do you think Google also tweaks results for politically correct reasons, or is it just autocomplete? That's a good question. They do not. There's a good example of that. Let me just show it to you right now, live. A search for Michelle Obama in images. If you take a look at it, even on the homepage over here, actually not on the homepage anymore, but you see the #1 result over here is a picture of Michelle Obama transformed to look like a monkey. And that's #1 result. It got a lot of press. The bottom line is Google won't remove it for political reasons. They'll leave it there unless there's malware or something else that thinks that they should get rid of it. So that's one example. The next post we have this week is that Google's posting warnings to AdSense publishers. I've never seen this before, but supposedly this has been happening. If an AdSense publisher does something wrong, on occasion Google will go ahead and warn them, saying you did something wrong, either you're banned for it, we dropped your ads temporarily, or you have 3 days to fix the issue. And we posted it on May 7th today at SEOroundtable.com to show an example, of what the issue was. And this person actually got a 3-day working order, saying you have 3 working days to fix the issue. If not, your ads won't be shown anymore. There's also things where Google will warn you, saying your ads serving has been disabled on your site until you fix the issue. And the third one is Google AdSense has disabled your account. Those are the 3 types of warnings you might get from Google in your AdSense console. We have more information on May 7th at SEOroundtable.com on that. An AdWords change is that Google has been testing new phone number positions in the AdWords listings. So I don't know if you can see my screen, but there's a little thing over here which shows the phone number listed under the title and above the description. It's not like over here in this example, which shows the phone number in the ad description. That's something that people could write in the ad content at any time they want, but Google's dynamically showing the phone number between the ad title and the description, also shown on the listings over here, which is in the main, which is in the top featured ad positions. So that's pretty cool how they're doing that. Google is not giving me any more comments. It's not. I don't know if this is a phone number that if you call, it charges the advertiser. I don't know if it's the advertiser's phone number themselves. Google's not giving me any more information about that. We have 2 Ask.com topics this week, which is fairly unusual. One is saying that it's unusual that we see Ask.com posts, and the last time we saw a Webmaster World thread discussing Ask.com was back in 6 months ago on November 2nd, I believe, which is over 6 months ago, and that is, to me, proof that they're dead. Ask.com, obviously, I've been going off on a rant about them for past several months, how they're killing their search engine, how they're giving up on competing with Google, giving up on competing on search, and I go on and on about that, and I posted one more example about how Ask.com has given up. And you can see that on May 5th if you want. They received some comments from people. In addition, today I noticed via spin thread from Sean over at one of the blogs in the industry that Teoma is back. Teoma is a search technology that Ask Jeeves bought back in 2001. It was acquired from a professor in Rutgers who I respect greatly. Eventually, Ask.com ported that over to use for Ask Jeeves search technology using subject-specific popularity, and they ultimately renamed that to Expert Rank during the Edison project, which was back when Ask rebranded as Ask.com. And ultimately, they killed Teoma. The search page no longer was coming up. But that actually came back, I think, last month sometime, according to what I read. And Ask.com said, as I was asked about this, about why they're relaunching Teoma, and they said, as we announced in November, we are focused on building the best service for answering questions and delivering best answers for people posting questions on Ask.com. We relaunched Teoma in mid-April to provide a simplified interface for everyday keyword web search. Teoma's organic results will be similar to, but not exactly the same as, those on Ask.com, primarily for testing purposes and also to provide a more simplified search experience. So that's what their quote is. The key points in here is they're calling Ask.com a question and answer engine, which is key here. Teoma is going to be their keyword search engine. It's more simplified than the Ask interface. And they say over here they're not the same, which is true. They're not exactly the same. It says they might be using this for testing purposes, and it's a more simplified search experience. So that's the key takeaways. It's pretty interesting to me that they're relaunching this now. So that's pretty interesting. All right, let's round out this thing with just the logos for the past week. So we have a bunch of logos to share with you, and I'll post this up in the podcast as well. And if you have any questions, again in the chat room, definitely ask them before I end the show, and I'll go ahead and address them. We have the MAYDAY logo posted on several local properties over at Google. We have the Mother's Day logo posted in Spain. Again, Mother's Day is actually this Sunday, but in Spain it was before. We had the World Expo China logo over here in China. We had a Children's Day logo in Mexico. And there was also a special distracting driving logo which was posted also over the past week or so. Cinco de Mayo was May 5th. And we had logos from everybody pretty much but Google. Yahoo had a nice logo. Bing had a nice logo. A theme. Dogpile also had a nice logo. Ask.com didn't have a logo, but they had a question on their homepage. Google did have something over at Google Spain, which is obviously not for Cinco de Mayo. It was for a festival, patios, Corbonabas something or another. I can't pronounce it. So that was posted on May 5th over at SEOroundtable.com. May 6th, yesterday, Google had a special logo for the UK elections, which was big over at Google UK, and that was on Google UK as well. And they had up on Google Thailand a rocket logo, which is pretty cool as well. Finally, today there was a special logo at every single Google property for, I can't pronounce the name, but I'll try to, Piotr Iltych-Akosvaki, something like that. Yeah, anyway, he's 170 years old today. He was a Russian composer. He did things like ballets, different things like that, and it was his 170th birthday. The logo was designed on Google.com and other Google properties. It was designed in conjunction with the San Francisco Ballet. And this logo was one of his popular ballets called the Swan Lake. So if you want to take a look at that, SEOroundtable.com on May 7th. Let me just look at the chat room and answer any questions. We have another question over here. The results in something that URL was removed to seem to be more in line with those of something else. Results have dramatically changed in the Google UK, even for a non-long tail key phrase. Have Google announced anything here? So I couldn't see the specific URLs because for some reason the chat room was removing the URLs, but in any event, there were some talks about, I think last week or 2 weeks ago, check the podcast, that Google UK has drastically changed. There's a lot of people complaining about that. You should definitely check a look at our archives, or just do a search for Google UK, and you should come up with something. Outside of that, Google.com, people are complaining about the MAYDAY stuff. So the first thing we talked about, the second thing we talked about in this video, was the MAYDAY thing. So definitely take a look. I posted about it on, I think it was May 5th. MAYDAY Yeah, go to SEO Roundtable, click on the archives, and then go to the May 3rd. May 3rd, I posted about something called MAYDAY. Just search one word, MAYDAY, at SEORoundtable.com, and you can learn more about that. Anyway, thanks for participating. I appreciate it. Chat room, thank you very much. And that pretty much recaps the Search Buzz video recap. My name again is Barry Schwartz. This is the search news we covered over the past week at the Search and Roundtable at SEORoundtable.com. Today is May 7th, Friday. Thanks for listening, and tune in next week for the next week's edition. Thank you very much. Have a great weekend, and happy Mother's Day.